there's this nagging sense of that I am never enough. You're not making a difference. You're not doing what you're supposed to.
I have been guilty of holding ministers on a pedestal. I get so hurt that in the name of God, they've taken a crash.
It destroys some people who've taken on this role when they wear that burden.
It's heavy.
Too many people with too many needs and not enough time to do all the things that need to be done.
We ask the questions most churches avoid.
And how we get through it with faith and hope.
Welcome back to Filthy Hope.
Reverend sister.
Reverend brother, how are you?
I am well.
Pretty exciting today.
Welcome back to Filthy Hope. If you've not joined us before, this is a podcast where we talk about faith with no filter.
Grit and grace.
Yes, we have radically honest conversations about issues, about life. And today we're talking a bit about that grit and grace that is involved in being a professional Christian, a leader in the church.
A professional Christian. I don't think I've ever heard it described like that.
Well, you get paid
Yeah, I do.
to be a Christian.
Yep. It's a horrible, tacky way to describe it, John, but it's going to be an interesting conversation.
Look, we call ourselves Reverend sometimes, or people call us Reverend. I did that when I was a chaplain.
Me too.
That's where I did because I was in even though it was a church school, largely, well, it's not secular, it's that crossover because it's a church school, but it's also most of the people there are not church people.
Yeah,
They're there for school, they're not there.
And that surprised me going into the church school because I was in one as well as a chaplain. I couldn't believe that I thought I was going into one of the biggest congregations ever, 900 girls. And I thought, oh, that's the biggest church congregation ever. And it wasn't, we're talking 2%.
Well, 2% of
stats?
people who would associate themselves, or 25%, 20% max, probably on average.
That would say
when
that
I surveyed the students, 25% would say that they attended some form of religious place regularly.
Outside of school.
Outside of school.
Yeah, wow.
But many of them saw chapel as their church.
And 100% is.
Came back to
baptise babies, get married, funerals.
And
that's
all that.
right. It's beautiful, really, isn't it?
Yeah, so
they called you Rev.
Well,
They called you
was
the
a title.
Rev.
I called myself the Rev.
Yeah, yeah.
Because technically Reverend is not a title. If you get your form from the doctor, I had to fill one out yesterday. Your title options, Mr., Mrs., Doctor, Ms., or other, but Reverend's not a title. Reverend is an honorific. Have you heard of that before?
I've heard only you talk about it.
Yeah, I had a principal, my first school, private school principal, was very, very proper. She was an English teacher by background. And so, yes, she made sure I understood that, like, our MPs, our ministers of Parliament,
the Honourable Bronwyn
Bishop would normally just be called
Bronnie.
Ms. Bishop.
I call
or
her Bronnie.
Mrs. Bishop, or Bronnie. That's why I just, when we introduce ourselves here, I often just say I'm John.
Yeah.
Because I left that. You've got a great branding because you carried your Rev Ness across into the congregation.
Can I just clarify, go back to calling Bronwyn Bishop Bronnie?
Yeah.
It's just that she was my neighbour.
Right.
And we've spent Christmas together and she's just a terrifically normal, beautiful woman.
Oh, well,
And so I would call her Bron.
That's a cool story too.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And if you're watching from somewhere overseas, Bronwyn Bishop was a prominent Australian politician for many years here in Australia.
She's got a cracker story.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should invite her on the podcast. Yes.
So there's this honorific that's applied to us. It's not a title. It's an honour. And if you look into the background of it, it's the revered one. It goes back to a Latin saying. And effectively, reverend means the revered one.
It's funny, John, I'm going to hospital next week to have a minor abdominal surgery. I wish it was a tummy tuck, but it's not. It's for a femoral hernia. So I'm having, not cool. But I had a phone call from the hospital, from admissions, and Pam rang me to say, and she says, "Is this Reverend Vanessa Williams-Henke?" And I went, it's a bit like when your mother calls you by your full name.
Yeah, you know you're in trouble.
I thought, oh no, is this a synod office call? Am I busted? And I said, I had to think for a minute. Yep, that's who I am. I said, yes, it is. She said, it's Pam. I said, oh, hi, Pam. She said, Reverend, I need to ask you a bunch of questions. And I felt so weird.
Yeah, I just go, like, no, I'm just, what should I call you? Should I call you Reverend? I just go, call me John.
Oh, yeah, I say Ness, absolutely. But I didn't, I was busy thinking, how does she know that about me? But I think it must be on the bottom of an email.
Right.
Because I don't put it in as it's not my title.
No.
I don't do Miss or Mrs. I've even struggled with those titles.
Yeah.
I've not been into that. I don't like that. I used to hate it when at school they'd call me Mrs. Henke.
Yeah.
Yeah. When, Mrs. Henke, can you come and see us? We need to talk to you about Ginger Aurora. Can you just call me Ness? I've been an anti-title person for a long time, actually. So, yeah, I feel I'm probably more comfortable with it now because of school.
Yeah, because the
kids call me Rev Ness. So I've just got I kind of adopted it.
Because I was the only chaplain in the schools that I was in.
Yeah.
I was the Rev. There wasn't another Rev.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, we had two.
So if we had two, I'd probably change it. Then it'd be
John.
Rev H or Rev John.
We weren't allowed to be called by our Christian names as just alone.
No,
that
because
was not seen as
schools refer to them Mr. and Mrs. Ms.
or Sir.
Sir,
ma'am. That's right, yeah. Yeah, but I've adopted the whole Rev Ness thing. I just became a part then, I suppose.
It's even on your number plate.
It's my number plate now because I thought, that's who I am now. And for me, it was really important to distinguish between being in my business life and then being in my ministry life, although the two very much bled over.
Yeah.
And we can get to that.
Acceptance of a change from
it was
from your corporate
I had to,
world identity to, this is the different space and chapter in your life.
Yep.
But I think that identity question is what I want to look at Grit and Grace, because why I don't want to be called Reverend is I don't want to be revered.
Yeah.
I don't see myself as
anything special.
I'm not the minister.
No.
I am a minister, but in the Uniting Church, we have this understanding that everyone has gifts and everyone has ministries, and we get a problem then when we start raising people up as being revered, or that thinking because I'm a leader in the church that somehow I have all my spiritual life together and that I'm the most, I'm a saint. And I know I'm not.
There is a certain, and I remember learning this in college and probably had a bit of trouble with it. There is a certain, I hate using this word, but I'm going to use it because it's in our code of ethics.
Yeah.
And it's referred to as a power that comes with the honorific.
Well, it comes with the role.
Yes, yeah.
Whether you've got the honorific or not, for me, because people see you as having been authorised by the church, which is where the ordination is, and that's where the honorific comes in.
Yeah.
And I don't play that down because people, come to us in grief when somebody's died.
Yep.
And we might be complete strangers, and there we are in the
trusting
the
role.
trust, and they share their life stories with us, or they walk in. You had someone the other day that just walks in, and because of that, stamp seal of approval, it does place us in a special role.
Yeah. I still get shocked by it though. Yeah. I get really shocked, and that person that you're talking to came in and. They recognised that I was the minister, but I just looked like how I look now, just in normal clothes. I don't look like, just look like a lady working in an office, right?
Yeah.
And
that's what it should be.
Yeah.
Because we all in the church should just be leaders.
But she realised that I was the minister because I introduced myself just by nature to say, "Hi, I'm Rev Ness, nice to meet you." And then she had a kind of a conniption in that moment. Then I spent my next couple of minutes trying to assure her everything's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm just me. I'm just me. I'm just me.
Yeah. Because
I love Jesus a lot, but I'm just a
spin
person.
people out.
Yeah, I think
like you go to a party and people ask you, "What do you do?"
You just can't tell the truth.
Well, I do, but you know that it's probably going to end the conversation.
It ends the relationship often, John.
What do you do? Well, I'm a
minister
of the word in the Uniting Church.
Yeah, I know.
Sometimes the response.
And I remember.
And they go, "I'm not very religious."
Yeah, I'm not, and I say I'm not very religious either.
I'm not very religious, and that's going to be a conversation we'll have. What does it mean to be religious? But the role's important, but that's not me.
Yeah, well, it is a bit part of you, John.
It is part of me. But if you lift me up as better, or more spiritual, more revered, I go, you're going to come crashing down, and we've seen it too many times in the church where religious leaders are given power and privilege.
And they fall.
And then that becomes a great temptation and they stuff up.
And I have been guilty of holding ministers even till not long ago, in the last couple of years even, on a pedestal because I actually thought they were really great and really incredible. And then when I see a crash happen, I get so hurt, probably hurt that in the name of God they've taken a crash.
Yeah.
And yet, you know what, John? We all crash. We're all just humans. We're all just capable of making mistakes, and we make mistakes every day.
We do. And I think that's the double-edged sword, if you like. We have this privilege of the role because we come in the name of God.
Yeah.
One of my missions is to stop using the word minister. So if anyone asks, if you look on my email, it says ministry leader.
Yeah, you do say that. Yeah.
And I don't say I'm the minister because I've seen how people then don't think of themselves in the congregation as ministers.
Minister. Yeah, that's right. Because we all are.
They are. Yeah, everyone are. Or at least in the Uniting Church. I'm not a priest. That's not how the Uniting Church works. We're ordained in a special role and we're set apart from having to have secular employment so that we can serve people and the church.
But we do a priestly role. We serve the sacraments.
Yeah, and
that's a priestly role.
That's another conversation that we can have in a conversation.
Yep. But it's a part of our ordination. It's one of the...
Yeah, but in the United Church we also believe in the priesthood of all believers.
Yeah, the priesthood.
Of all believers. So of all believers.
So then we're all priestly.
All priestly, not just these special people who are more holy or more sacred, who've got their spiritual shite together, for want of a better word, that they are the ones to look up to.
Yeah.
Because as an ordained person who leads in a church, there's this nagging sense of that I am never enough.
Yeah.
That I can never do enough. It's the nature of the role.
Yeah.
And I know it destroys some people who've taken on this role when they wear that burden personally.
It's heavy.
But the reality is there are too many people with too many needs and not enough time to do all the things that need to be done. And in my congregation, well, it's not my congregation, the congregation I serve with, we'd have 3 services on a Sunday. Unfortunately, we don't have a youth worker at the moment. We do have a pastoral ministry leader. So there's visiting, there's services to prepare, there's 3 lots of content every week, the newsletter, the sermon, the service.
And you haven't
then
even
on
got to
top
pastoral
of that,
care yet.
the homework that I set them.
Yeah.
And then there's the pastoral care and administration duties.
And then your outreach that you do in
and
the
scripture,
community. Yeah.
and I'm also the youth worker.
Yeah. And I remember somebody saying to me, oh, so as a minister, so you just work on Sundays. What do you do the other days of the week?
Yeah.
I think that's gold.
Look, I had to eat my words because coming from school chaplaincy, I sort of wondered.
I remember you being very
Wondered why do I
What
go
do we
fill my
do?
time? How am I going to fill the time?
It's busy. Because, John, I think we could, if we lived into that burden that you were talking about of ministry, we could actually be on the phone or caring for people 24/7.
Well, every conversation
Yes.
that we have,
Yeah.
if you go and see somebody, it's usually an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah.
And if you think about that, that's a quarter of your working day.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
every day you might get through 4 people if you're only doing that and not counting travelling time.
Yeah. It's a lot.
And if you've got 100 or so people
a lot
in
of
your
care.
congregation, and you can't just do it once. So if you were to try and extrapolate that, and then, the hours that it takes to pull a service together and a sermon, and then the other duties that we need to do, there is never enough time.
Can I tell you something
We're
funny?
always going to be falling short.
Yeah, always. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
my
tell
feeling.
me something.
I always feel like my to-do list never gets completed.
Yeah.
It always bleeds into the next week, and it's very rare that I ever get everything ticked off because people come before the to-do list. So if there's a need in the community,
Yeah.
I'll always shuffle the to-do list down to meet the need of the person
Exactly.
and to be present for
Because
them.
we have open doors. Our church has an op shop.
That's right.
People come to the church saying,
Help.
help, or
Yeah.
my family members died.
Correct.
They're religious.
Yep.
We need somebody to do the
Funeral.
service because
That's right. Yeah.
we don't go to a church or whatever.
Yeah.
But we want to honour their rights. So there's
I was in the middle of a business meeting yesterday with 2 people in my congregation that we're working on some redevelopment stuff, and I'm right in the middle of that meeting in the church office, and there's a knock at the door, and I turn around and I say to my team, I'll grab it, thinking I'll be back straight away because I'm thinking it's somebody who's turned up for choir using the church hall, and I'll just be able to say, go this way or go that way, or it's not on today, and I'll be straight back into the meeting.
Or when your services.
Right, all of that.
Sunday, come along on Sunday.
Correct.
Quick
One
interaction.
of those easy conversations. 40 minutes later, I'm still in the conversation because it actually, this person wanted to know about Uniting Church. This person wanted to know about our Bible study. They wanted to know about, after a conversation about all of that, it then led into the real reason that person was there.
Which is stuff happening in their life.
Wanted to know more about baptism because they felt that they were being pressured by their own church to be baptised. Wow. And so I had this incredible conversation that was just like, I just treated it like I was chatting to a friend about baptism and just assured them there's no pressure, just listen to God. It was just a different way of approaching it, I suppose. 40 minutes later, I'm having this incredible what I would call a ministry conversation that I'm...
While the other team's sort of
they're
on
doing
hold.
business, but they just kept going with,
that's good.
with the business because they're more than
that's
capable.
a danger too then, we can't get on with it because Ness is not here.
They're beautiful.
And she's the minister.
No.
And
no.
That becomes also, I think, a wearing pressure for people.
I don't want to work like that.
And so many people either take that on because that's what's put on them as the reverend and that they are the pastor and the minister.
The other word we would call it, which is a dirty word in business, is micromanagement.
Well, that's it.
We don't want to do that.
They
perceive that they're the font of all knowledge and power, and that's not cool either.
And that's the temptation of a title.
The beautiful thing that happened at the end of my beautiful pastoral conversation that my team just gracefully let me exit the meeting on, was that I came back 40 minutes later saying, so where are you up to? And they beautifully said, we're done. And I went, hallelujah, this is great. Yeah, so amazing, because I would much prefer to be in the conversation, the pastoral conversation.
Yeah.
It's how I'm built. You know, I'm built for both.
Yeah.
But that one I feel gives life, and it's my passion, because I do what I do like you do because I love God. And I want to tell people about God, and I want it to be invitational, and it's even better when they come to you.
And that's, you know, the church is not a building.
No.
The church is not an institution.
Yeah.
The church is a gathering of people. And when we are being the church as opposed to going to church, then your people are able to just do stuff.
Yeah, it's great.
Without you having to, you're part of it, but you don't have to be the person who is present and it's dependent upon you.
Yeah.
And that becomes a big pressure sometimes. And you can't sustain that if you take that on yourself. And I think that's where the grit and grace is, that I know, you know, I call it juggling balls.
Yeah.
I'm always juggling all these different demands, family, my personal family, my wider family, the church roles,
family,
friends, other relationships, and then my own health and well-being, and trying to find time to keep it all. And the reality is I'm dropping stuff. Yeah. Or I'm just not able to take another ball on sometimes. And then the risk is then you just feel guilty. You live in this constant state of guilt, and that can be depressing, that you're not making a difference, you're not doing what you're supposed to, or you hear people who don't understand that say, well, what are you doing with your life, as you said? You know, why aren't you visiting me? You know, why aren't you visiting everyone?
And then do you ever suffer that imposter syndrome thing? That often taps into me when I'm feeling like that. If I feel like I'm not, I want to say this, and I'm going to say it because I do radical honesty, that I'm not able to meet the needs of everybody all the time. And there's that burden that comes on, and you think, therefore I'm not doing anything right. Yeah. Everything's, and you can kind of catastrophize, can't you? And then I get that sense of,
and that's what I think leads people to ruin, that I'm not good enough, because it becomes personal.
Maybe I'm not a good enough minister. I'm not able to love everybody the way that they need to be loved, or that person over there is hurt, and it's, I'm not good enough. Yeah. That feeling, it's terrible.
And that's where grace comes in for me. The grit is to actually go, but it's actually not me. My faith is centered literally on God and in God, and that I will try my best and fail. That's inevitable. Yeah. Even when I'm at my best, doing my best, trying it as hard as I can, it will never be enough. Yeah. It will never make everyone happy. Yeah. It will never serve all the needs. There will, as you said, there are people that I just can't help, and who need help. Yeah. But if I see it as just being me, then it's just going to destroy me. And I found somehow long ago that I centered myself in my call. So my call is based on 3 statements: that I exist to serve, why be normal, and then finding meaning and purpose. And then part of that goes, I have gifts and graces for ministry, which is why I've been called by God and by the church to serve. And then I can use those gifts and who I am as best as I can. Yeah. But the guy in the Bible called Paul, or Paul, who wrote bunch of letters, said that we're not it. We're not it. We're a body. Yeah, that's it. All the people have different gifts, and if you're trying to do, if you're trying to be the head, the heart, the hands, the feet, that's right, and every other bit,
you'll end up stimming, I reckon, in a way.
Well, that's it. Or you'll end up paralyzed or depressed, or worse, you get burnt out, or you'll lose faith because there's just no way you can do it all. And that guilt becomes this overwhelming burden. I don't feel guilty.
Yeah.
I understand I fail. I understand that I fall short. I understand that I don't do enough in some people's eyes, or even in my own eyes sometimes. But I then just have to gritly give that to God and say, well, it's not actually about me. I'm not the revered one.
Yeah.
I'm not the Reverend. It's actually God who's brought me into this space.
And using you.
Yeah, and using me, but using other people.
Yeah, definitely.
And if I'm not there, God is. I mean, that's
right. That's
the
right.
bit that we sometimes forget, that I don't have to do it all.
No,
and we don't have to do it all.
So important.
We're called to join with God.
Yeah, and to disciple others. That's a big part of our gig.
Yeah, but that discipling, for those, that's a big Christian word, but it's literally just connecting them with God that they might learn what we're learning. I'm not the disciple. I'm not the best disciple.
And in
fact,
corporate speak, tell me if you think that this is a good linkage. In corporate speak, if you were a manager or a director of marketing, you're bringing in your team so that they can best feed the mothership, which is the corporation, right? So they can best do their job to grow the sales and the product or the market.
And there's two ways of being in that. You can be the person who sees themselves as either the leader who is micromanaging or being, telling everyone what to do and wearing also the responsibility then of everything. Or you can be the facilitator of a collaborative team.
Yeah, that's right.
You can be a team leader.
Yep.
Where you do have a role that helps things going, but you don't have to do all the doing.
No, and I see the role as guiding, giving them the resources that they need to be able to do the gig, to listen, to hear their heartfelt stories about where they are in their faith and their faith journey, and then affirming them.
Yeah.
And then just absolutely encouraging them to flourish.
Yeah. And we were having a conversation where you're thinking about how you can get your kids leading some
church.
services
as
the church because they are the church.
Because I had this funny story. Can I tell that funny story? I am going to have this surgery and I've got a minister coming in to preach, but I've prepped all the outline for the service and I've got all my people doing all the other parts and the minister is just going to preach this great sermon.
Yeah.
And he has a gifting in Old Testament, so he's going to come in and preach that, which is really great. And one of my little leaders, who's 14.
Who's going to be leading the service,
who's going to be
the other bits.
Yeah, the other bits, and she's going to introduce the people to lead it and hold it all together and read some of the prayers.
So to not use church speak, she's basically the MC.
MC, yeah, that's good. That's a great way of describing it. Yeah, that's the gig. And she was really disappointed and said to her dad, well, Dad, why hasn't Ness asked me to preach?
Yeah.
Can't I just do the sermon as well? And then I got the idea. I thought, yeah, why didn't I think to do that?
Yeah.
She wants to do that.
Because we have this idea that we need our minister or our preacher.
Yeah.
And I came to a realisation ages ago, which is why I don't call myself minister and I don't call my colleagues ministers. I call them colleagues.
Yeah, nice.
And we're all ministry leaders. We're facilitators, as you said. And that's not an insult to them, but there's nothing that an ordained person can do in the Uniting Church anyway that no one else could do. People can preach.
Yep.
People can lead prayers. People can write prayers.
People can lead communion.
They can lead communion if they're allowed, authorised.
Well, if they're authorised and done the training. But that
authorisation isn't, in the Uniting Church, isn't so, well, when it's done rightly, isn't about power. It's just making sure we honour the tradition and understand what's going on.
It's an interesting gig, you know. We go to uni, we do our degrees, we do a copious amounts of training and time in formation or seminary.
Yeah.
And we are prepared before we go out into ordained ministry life. And yet we have people that are called pastor.
Yeah.
And leaders that have actually got no theological training whatsoever that are out leading. It's the only kind of career that I can think of that you can actually be a part of because the Holy Spirit's there and with you without the actual training. You'd never have it go and see a doctor that hadn't done the necessary training.
Because you're not actually doing a profession.
It's a spirit-led.
And there are people in my congregation who will have more theological knowledge than I do. There are, and I've worked with lay people. Well, the laos is actually a Greek word for the whole people of God. And again, we've stuffed it up by dividing ordained people and the rest.
Just people.
And we're all just the people of God. The difference between the fact that there's nothing that I can do that no one else could do.
Yeah.
And I'm not a priest, so in our tradition, in other traditions, only priests can do communion or the Eucharist or the holy thing. The priest can only do the sacraments. The United Church sees we're the priesthood of all believers, and if people have the understanding and honour the tradition and within freedom within that, they can do it. The difference is that I've been called to help people do that, and I've been resourced to do that. And if people have got equal resourcing, or I can teach them as you're teaching your young people, that I'm sharing and empowering them with the things. It's not given to me to make me special. It's not given to me to make me important. I'm not the one. Jesus is the one.
Yeah.
Because that's what Messiah or Christ means. Jesus is the one,
and
because
yet,
he was God.
Yeah.
And God with us.
Yeah.
And God is with everyone. And so
and yet the role, John, is and
important.
we both hold it in very high esteem.
Yeah.
And we hold this role that we have, and this I think it's a gift from God that we're both ordained into these roles, that we hold it with the highest regard.
Yeah, I take the role very seriously. I just don't take me very seriously.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's the difference. And that's why I don't have to live up to other people's expectations. I don't have to feel guilty that I'm not able to do enough. Every now and then that breaks through.
Yeah.
And I go,
we're only human, aren't we? Yeah.
Or I do the wrong thing.
Make a mistake, you mean?
Make
You
a
mean as a
mistake.
minister you can make a mistake?
Well, that's exactly it.
All the time.
And you usually hear about it very quickly.
We get into trouble and
and that's the great thing. That is such a blessing that people can come up to us and go, you've stuffed up.
Yeah, you're so busted. It's awful.
And that wasn't good enough.
But you don't mean to.
Well, you don't mean to, and hopefully, it's done with grace and trying to help us be better.
Yeah.
But the danger is if we're seeing ourselves as this super special, super sacred, sainty person that is just like Jesus, we're making ourselves the Messiah, and then when we fall short, we then feel that we're destroyed.
It can feel like that, can't it? Particularly if you get into trouble. And the beautiful thing, I think, with the Uniting Church, and I'm unsure of other denominations, is that they will sow into our lives to help us be the best we can be.
Yeah.
If a mistake has been made, the church want to help their ministry agents to heal, to repair, and to continue to grow. So it's like a lifelong learning, which I think is extraordinary.
A safe culture is around making mistakes safely, that people will make mistakes.
Yeah. And you've got to be willing to grow.
And when we're talking mistakes, we're not talking the heinous evil things like when people abuse power.
Heck no.
Or, steal from the church,
when we
or
offend people and we don't mean to.
Yeah, it's those interaction stuff that is when we're trying to do things with the best intention.
Yeah, that's right.
But we're either not prepared enough or we've said the wrong thing in the moment. That's the sort of mistake I'm talking about, not
or
like,
people misinterpret your intentions.
Yeah, and
And that happens in any part of life.
Not wrongdoing. You know, this is a mistake within
I see what you're
safe
saying.
space as opposed to doing something evil and deliberately horrible to other people.
And that happens too.
But that becomes more likely to happen when people have all that power and see themselves as empowered and that they have the right then and the privilege because they are better than everyone else or more important.
We tend to not do that in the Uniting Church, do
Well,
we?
some people do, and that's where we see it falling short. They abuse their power and privilege, and that's why we have, as you referred to, a code of conduct, a code of ethics that say these are things that are not acceptable and this is what it should be about, that guide us because we have a special position that does carry privilege and power, which is not personal but it's representational. We represent God to people, not because we are God or we're God-like, but people say you're a professional Christian, you're a Jesus person, and I expect to see that in that.
Yeah, that's right.
I expect to see you act like that.
Well, the Bible even talks about ministry agents being held to a higher account.
Yeah.
We have to live into that.
Well, if you claim that, then you have to live it.
You are it. You need to claim it, brother.
Well, I do claim it.
Sorry, but you
I do claim it.
Yeah.
I claim the role, but I don't claim the power and privilege for myself, which gets back to I'm not the revered person.
Yeah.
Don't revere me. Look for where I'm doing good God stuff.
Yeah.
And then that's awesome. And when I fall short, know that that's just who I am as well.
Yeah.
And I have gifts and graces, but I'm no different to anyone else. It's just I get to do this amazing role.
Yeah, it is amazing.
And I want other people to see that maybe that's something they could do.
Yeah, it's a privilege, isn't it?
And to join with me in doing it because, as you said, with like your young people, you're called to bring people in.
I know, it's so cool.
And then empower them like any good leadership and then step away and let them go.
Yeah, I can't wait for that service. I'll report back.
I'll look forward to it.
This was such a good convo.
Yes.
Do you think it was a good convo?
I think so. Hopefully it gives you, if you're listening or watching, a sense that, just be gentle with your peeps. And we're not doing it so you feel sorry for us.
No.
Don't feel sorry for us. We've got a great job.
Yeah.
We love it. And don't misunderstand that we don't love it, the role that we have.
It's a gift.
But at the same time, don't put us on a pedestal or anyone
We're just normal
who
people.
serves in the name of God. Don't associate them as being more important than you because we all play it.
And maybe if we don't, like the mistake I've made in the past, holding people on a pedestal, and it's often been ministry people, and then I see them fall because they've been in my life, then I get wounded. I feel wounded by that, and I feel like I've been betrayed in some kind of way.
Well, and worse, people see then that God has failed.
Yeah, and it's not that at all.
And lose faith because of the horrible things that religious leaders or so-called religious leaders have done, not in the name of God, but because they carry the name of God. So that it just wrecks it for everyone.
Yeah, it wrecks it. That's right.
So, wow.
Good convo.
Excellent. Thank you, people, for watching. This is Filthy Hope. Hopefully that's been a radical conversation, radically honest.
Yeah, it has been.
Opened up stuff.
Yeah. The grit and grace in the great places. See you next time.
Stay hopeful.
Thanks for listening to Filthy Hope today. If you're not already a subscriber, could you maybe subscribe? It's going to really help other listeners find us.